like, I think I saw your shoulder once.
That's business, right? I haven't talked to him.
Okay, welcome, folks. Tonight is November 8th, 2010. This is a public hearing for the City of Lowell Zoning Board of Appeals. Anybody wishing to address the board tonight, please do so only from the podium. And first, tell us your name and your address so I don't have to interrupt you while you're speaking. There's one continuance on and 3 other matters, so we should move pretty quickly. We'll take it in order of the first continuance and the only continuance on for tonight. ZB 2010, number 37, a request for a variance. This is the applicant Stephen DeRosa at the property address of 142 First Street. Petitioner would like to convert an existing single-family home into a 2-family dwelling without meeting the lot area requirements with curb cuts that exceed the maximum length of the driveway pursuant to section 12.2 and 6.1.10 of the zoning code. Mr. DeRosa. Welcome.
Mr. Chairman, I have some revised drawings which I'd like to present to the board this evening before we make our presentation.
Yeah, we just need one here, is fine. So what happened last meeting? Did we get our signals crossed about the...
We thought the meeting was Wednesday night because of the meeting prior to that was Wednesday.
Oh,
So we
okay.
missed it.
Right.
That was our fault, I'm
I
sorry.
knew it was something. Okay, great. So what's changed? What would you like to tell us?
What we've done since we last met is we had an opportunity to meet with the city engineer regarding the sewer, which was a concern at the last meeting. And I also had an opportunity to speak with our civil engineer regarding the veracity of the site plan that we presented to the board at the last meeting. I also have one more drawing which I want to give to you.
I should tell you too, sir, before you get started, as you can see, there's only 4 members here, so you're required to have all 4 votes for a quorum. If one person votes to deny it, you lose. So just so you know that. You can get another continuance because we only have 4, or you can opt to proceed as is.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We would like to move forward.
Okay, fine.
Is that correct, Stephen?
Okay.
I think there was some confusion at our last hearing with the board regarding the site plan and the location of the retaining wall. What was missing in the information from the civil engineer's drawings was the existing location of the existing retaining wall. In the drawing that I presented to you this evening, which is labeled A1.1, there's an architectural drawing that shows the site plan, blown up version of the site plan with a location of the existing, I'm sorry, both drawings are labeled, no, you keep going through that set that I gave you, there's a drawing labeled A1.1. It actually has the floor plan, proposed floor plan on it, not just the elevation. Go to the next one.
Okay.
I think
This
you
one
have
right
that
here?
one. And that will show, in a dashed line, it indicates the location of the existing retaining wall. What I confirmed with our civil engineer was that, in fact, if we do move the retaining wall as indicated in that site plan, that we will have the necessary clearances for the 4 vehicles that we were talking about, and they would not block the existing sidewalk, which was a concern by Mr. Belanger at the last meeting.
Okay, so this can accommodate 4 vehicles when you push it back and rebuild?
That is correct.
You'd be replacing that wall.
That wall would be replaced with a new engineered retaining wall. That retaining wall is not an engineered wall, and I was concerned with the structural integrity of that wall to begin with. So our proposal recommends that we move the retaining wall back to the location that's indicated on that site plan, which will allow us to build a deck on top of it of approximately 4 feet in width, which will give us a necessary width to bypass and communicate between one entrance and the other side entrance along the building. The other concern was location of the existing sewer line, and my understanding from the city engineers department was that the sewer line does come out to the street, but it is barely covered on what is currently the existing parking lot. It's approximately about 1.5 feet of cover. What I was able to confirm from the city engineers department was the location of the inlet of the main sewer out in the street, which is approximately 7.3 feet below grade. And if we were to work our way back from that location out in the center of the street back to the house with a new sewer line, we could accommodate the necessary coverage of the sewer line from the street back to the house of at least 4 feet along the entire length of that pipe. And my floor plan indicates in a bold dash line the location of the sewer main as well as the connection of the proposed sewer line to accommodate that. And what I've also done on the side elevation is to indicate a section through the side elevation of the location of the sewer main and the sewer pipe. If you go to the next drawing, which is just a side elevation, I believe that will show you what I'm indicating. Yes, that's the correct drawing. So I believe those were the two pieces of information that the board was concerned with at the last meeting. And as I said, I was able to confirm with the city engineer that we would be able to make that modification of the sewer line back out to the street without modifying the sewer main.
And how would that, how would your plans affect the means of egress and ingress? Is that already identified? Because I know there was a neighbor that showed up last time who had some issues about that. About, the way you're getting in and out of the property for fire hazards, and I know we discussed that a little bit at the prior meeting, but...
Getting in and out of the property in terms of the building itself?
Yes.
There are two means of egress for each unit. They would both be coming out onto that deck that wraps around the house, and they would both have access, either grade access on the property itself or going down the steps back out to the parking lot once they exited the building.
So all that's been addressed?
That's correct.
As well as the 2% grade with the runoff onto the street?
For the parking lot?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
The parking lot would work with the 2% grade running off to the street. That is correct. Because we've introduced the retaining walls and we're able to reduce grade at that location.
Well, I thought the engineer made a comment that I don't know if this was referred to the last applicant to you, but it said the 2% grade shown on the plan at the driveway will send additional runoff to the street. This would not be allowed. A pervious surface will be required, but I thought when we spoke last time at the last hearing that you said that you would change the material there?
That's correct. We would use a pervious paver on the parking lot to minimize the runoff from the site, or at least eliminate the runoff from the parking lot.
Okay.
It would be contained on site through the pervious pavers.
What material would you be constructing the retaining wall out of?
It would be concrete retaining wall with rebar, necessary rebar.
So poured concrete?
That's correct, but then we would face it with some type of finished material, whether it be stone or some other type of finished material, but it wouldn't just be plain concrete. We'd want something that's a little bit more aesthetically pleasing.
Okay. Did you talk to the planning department about that at all?
I've not spoken with the planning department about that in particular, no.
Because I think that would be a condition that I want, that it would be something that the, approved by the planning department as far as the aesthetics for the wall. I think if you just have the plain concrete, it's gonna age pretty quickly there, and you'll see all those cracks and, who knows what else, but.
I can assure you that would not be the desire of Mr. DeRosa, the owner.
Okay. Anything else, sir?
I believe that's it. Those were the questions at the last meeting, and, thank you for the opportunity for going back and getting those questions answered. I think that we've answered those questions, but if you have any other questions, happy to
Okay,
answer
I'll
them.
reopen it to the public and see if there's any comments either way. But anybody here wishes to speak in favor of this petition, in favor? Anybody wishing to speak in favor of this petition? Okay, and hearing none, that portion of the public hearing is closed. Anybody wishing to speak in opposition? In opposition to this petition?
Excuse me, Chairman Gary, I just wanted to let you know, we did receive a correspondence on Friday from a neighbor expressing their concern over the project. I'll just
If you
hand
want
it
to give
over
me,
you.
I'll read it into the record, and it doesn't look very long, right? It's a paragraph. Okay. This is from Eldon and Wilda Chapman of 133 3rd Street to Joe Jinowitz, DPD Planning Secretary. Dear Mr. Jinowitz, this letter is to inform you that due to a conflict in our schedules, we can't attend the meeting tonight. We would like to inform you that Eldon and Wilma Chapman of 133 3rd Street disapprove of the decision to build on the above referenced property. Any questions, call them. Okay, so let me just make that part of the record. I'm not sure what their concerns are, and you can't tell from the letter, but, well, let me see if anybody here opposed to this petition, opposed? So hearing none, that portion of the public hearing is closed. So let's open up to the board for consideration. Bill, any thoughts, concerns, questions?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you to the applicant. Can you explain again, we were talking about egress, the right side of the building, I believe is it a staircase that comes down from the second floor on the right-hand side of the building?
That's, you mean on the?
As
on
you're
the far
facing-
right- Far right-hand side of the building as you're
Yeah.
facing it? I think Mr. DeRosa could answer that, I'm not sure. You're not talking about the entrance stair on the
No.
right side, you're talking about on the side of the building.
You got your front stairs, I know you're showing on the plan, the left-hand side, where you have the new parking area, and it looks like you have a walkway coming up. But I'm talking about when you face the building on the right-hand side, I believe there's a set of stairs on the right-hand side of the building, I think it's coming from the second floor. Could you just talk about what the plans are on that side of the house, please?
There is a set of stairs going to the second floor. We're just going to rebuild and beautify.
So you plan on taking down the existing structure that's there, the stairs, and,
Honestly, I don't know the answer to that. I know there's a set of stairs there, and I don't know if they're structurally sound, but if
so if I can continue, as you're coming up the front stairs, I'm assuming you're gonna take down that whole porch area that's in front right now and the set of stairs that are there once you build the wall back?
yes, our plan is to build like a farmer's porch.
Yeah,
It's
like
gonna
a
go around the
wraparound
front.
porch,
Yes,
correct?
exactly. So I'm sure, you're saying to the right-hand side that meets the second floor? Is that what you're asking? Yes, there's a set of stairs there. I honestly, I don't think I've ever traveled on them, so I don't know what needs to be done, if anything, to them. But if they're old and rotted, certainly I would.
So
Move to forward.
the front door, is that a door that's only for the first floor, or is that like a common doorway that'll have?
It's actually a common doorway that can go up to the second floor and the first floor.
Is
Yes.
that your plan to have it set up that way?
Yes.
So that's for the second floor. Now, there's also an attic area up there, correct? All right. Is that to be unoccupied?
No, that's all built out, and I believe there's 3 bedrooms.
Okay, so you want to put a two-family in there, is that correct?
Yes.
So do you have a first, a second, and then you have the attic area?
The actual attic areas are, when I bought the property, it was already built out. The attic area, there's, as I said, I'm just going by memory, there's 3 bedrooms up there existing.
Okay, so maybe I'm confused. Is there a first
I'm
floor, a
sorry.
second floor, and then an attic that's, you're saying that's built out?
Yes, the first floor is a 3-bedroom apartment. The second and third floor is 5 bedrooms in the second.
That's a common unit.
Yes, that's 1 unit, 2 levels.
So the second unit's going to have 2 floors?
The second unit already has 2 floors. When I bought the property, it was that way.
Okay. Well, I'm just trying to get an idea of that right-hand side, what the plans were, because I'm assuming that's, so if you're on the second floor and/or the attic area,
Yes,
you have two areas of, I guess, egress of vacating the building, both
Yes.
from the side and from the front, if I have this
Yes.
correct.
if you walk down from the, call it the attic level bedrooms, goes into a hallway, feeds into a hallway, which the main floor of the second unit feeds into that main hallway to that set of stairs, and then out.
Okay, so you're saying the second unit's gonna have 5 bedrooms?
That's the one, when I bought it, it was that way.
Okay. Does that meet the parking requirements with 5 bedrooms? I just want to make sure I have this straight, because we're talking about a two-family. So the first floor would have, did you mention 2 or 3 bedrooms on the first floor?
The first floor has, that front room, well, you could use it, you could use it as a bedroom, you could use it as a living room. I offer you to come take a look. I don't want to be deceitful.
No, no,
I'm just,
that's fine.
I don't really know. If you walk inside the unit, there's a fireplace on your left-hand side. There's a room that could be used as a bedroom, could be used as a living room. It's 3 bedrooms. I'm sorry, there's 3 bedrooms in the first floor.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I was told it's 4 upstairs. I'm sorry, I haven't been in the property for a few months now, but
Okay. Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question of Aaron? Can you lend some light to this, please?
Sure. The parking standards for 1 or 2 unit residential buildings is 2 parking spaces per dwelling unit. There is a provision based on bedrooms once you get above 2 dwelling units for the building. So if it was 3 or 4, there's a provision for 0.75 spaces per bedroom. But since this is just a 2-family, or the proposal is for a 2-family, it's just based on the number of units.
Okay. So based on the submittal by the applicant, they meet the parking requirements for the 2-family that they're proposing?
As shown with the 4 spaces, correct, yeah. With the
Okay.
dimensional plan.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I was clear on that set of stairs on the right-hand side, because I believe the architect made a comment about building that, I'll say farmer's porch or the wraparound porch, that it was tied in to that set of stairs, I guess I'll call it, on the right-hand side that's coming down. I just wanted to make sure that I understood that correctly the way you presented it. Okay. Mr. Chairman, when we received from the city engineer, now this was dated October 7th, it talked about the previous owner that was in there before, and work that had been done and work that wasn't permitted. And I know we haven't really talked about that yet. I think we kind of touched on that at the last meeting, to talk about you'd be pulling the proper permits or whatever.
we had pulled an electrical permit and a plumbing permit and had those inspectors out and made some suggestions, and we had made those repairs that they
Okay.
suggested.
So I guess the question I would have is, if this is granted, would the building inspection department be in there again and going through the property to ensure everything is up to code?
Yes, we would need an occupancy permit for the first floor if the board granted this, so they would be back for that.
Okay. And just the last thing I have, just real quick, I think the chairman mentioned, we had the neighbor, and I had mentioned this to you before, to your left at 140, the building that sets in back there.
Yes,
Now, they have, it looks like they have 2 parking spots, I believe. It would be to the left of your proposal. And I believe they also have a walkway that's already in there.
yes.
Do you plan on putting up any fencing at all between your property and theirs?
I haven't had any plans.
Okay.
I typically don't like fences.
Sure.
When I do put up fences, they're typically living fences.
Yep. Okay. I didn't see it on the plan, but I just thought I'd ask because those two lots are kind of cut a little bit differently there, the way they're shaped. And that's all I have for now, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Bill. Gary, anything?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you, Mr. Chairman, to the applicant. As it relates to the front doorway, you said that's a common entrance to both first and second floors.
That's correct.
Second being occupied, first being unoccupied. With the egresses, both apartments have egress to that second, that side
The first floor has an egress
to the
out
rear,
the left, yes, yes, more towards the center.
center
maybe a little
left.
bit- Yes, yes,
That's going to be that's going to be their primary, secondary exit, and primary, secondary exit for the second floor is going to be that existing stairwell and/or reconstructed stairwell, depending on the sound,
that's correct, yes.
actually sound nature of it. Okay. The only other thing, Mr. Chairman, as it relates to your retaining wall, you mentioned that you're going to do that in a concrete form. Is that going to be ground leveled off and capped with a cap? Is that going to be a straight grade? I know
I'm not sure what you're asking.
I know there's a section you're saying that's going to come underneath the decking?
Yes.
For parking?
Yes.
Is that the entire length of that?
The area that's directly underneath the deck would have the structural timbers for the deck above. And then once it gets beyond the deck, it would be capped off with whatever finished material we decide to put on the front face of the retaining wall. So it would be a finished look. It wouldn't just be a unfinished piece of concrete.
But that's going to, I guess what my question is saying, that the unfinished piece beyond the decking, that's going to be landscaped to the wall.
That's correct.
And your plan is to, like, chicken wire it off and put on some flat stone of some sort to make it aesthetically sound?
Yeah, what typically we do is put some concrete anchors into the face of the wall and then lay whatever we decide to put up in front of it, whether it be brick, veneer, stone veneer,
Yeah.
whatever it ends up being.
And
But it would be some type of finished material.
the whole top of that wall will be capped?
That's correct. Anything exposed to the view beyond the deck would be capped off. That's correct.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks, Gary. I mean, my feeling is that it's, in its proposed state, the property's gonna look a lot nicer, in the neighborhood. It's certainly gonna be a lot safer than the current property. And as a result of that, I think it's just more valuable to the neighborhood overall. I think most of my issues were the concerns I had were answered, mainly that you could fit actually 4 parking spots in that retaining wall, and that the retaining wall wasn't just pushed back, that it was rebuilt. And then the only condition I would want on it would be that the retaining wall does have a finish, and you coordinate that through recommendations from the planning department. But other than that, I think all the concerns that we had were addressed. And had the developer not come in to do this, I don't think those concerns ever would have been addressed to the extent they are being. So I'd support it in its current state, with the condition that we make sure that the retaining wall does have some sort of finished product covering, and that it's something acceptable to the planning department or whoever's in charge of that. Corey, anything?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chairman. I'm in agreement with you. The applicant and the owner certainly have done their due diligence from 30 days ago, so I'm extremely pleased. What I do see here in front of me this evening, and I hope you understand my position that we're here to help you. I want to see this building beautified and occupied and be practical for your client, but at the same time, I don't want to be at the expense of the neighborhood. So I was very firm on the off-street parking, so I do hope you understand that. Now, approximately how many feet are we going back on the retaining wall? From
It's approximately 6 feet.
6 feet? Okay. All right, that's good enough now, so we have a large vehicle, so you're not impeding on the sidewalk. I estimated around 6, 8 feet in that range, so I just want to make that clear. That's, as long as we have enough clearance, so to speak, that sidewalk is not impeded, and that should be suffice. So, as the chairman stated, everything looks great. I support it as is proposed myself. I think it's going to be a good project. I think it's going to be good for the neighborhood, and I'm in favor of it, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay, so do we have a motion?
Yes, I'll make a motion to approve with the following condition, that the concrete wall aesthetics be approved by planning and development.
Second the motion.
And roll call, Aaron, please.
Mr. Bailey?
Approve with conditions.
Mr. Belanger?
Approve with conditions.
Mr. Gary?
Approve with condition. Okay, sir, you've been unanimously approved. I just need you to sign and date these documents. If you could take them over to that table and do it so we can go on with the meeting and give, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, one more. Mr.
Did I do
Perrin.
that again?
Just one more, Mr. Perrin.
Approve with conditions.
Thank you.
There was a delay there, that's why I thought.
It takes me a second sometimes. Thanks.
Okay, now you've been unanimously approved. So if you can just take these documents over to that table and just sign and date them, and you can give them to Aaron, appreciate it, and good luck with your project.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Board.
Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, the next petition is ZB 2010, number 50, special permit, signs, Walgreen Company, 1201 Bridge Street, to internally illuminate 10 wall signs and 1 freestanding pylon signs for the Walgreen to be located at 1201 Bridge Street pursuant to section 6.3.2 of the zoning code. Welcome again, sir.
Good evening, John Matthews. I'm the real estate representative for Valley Properties, and I'm accompanied by Heather Hopkins, who's a permitting consultant on behalf of Walgreen Company. And we're here this evening concerning internal illumination of signs for the new Walgreens at 1201 Bridge Street, Sunrise Shopping Center, which opened about 2 weeks ago.
Okay, and this, I recall, was just a notification issue last time. There was an error in the notification? or-
Concerning the pylon, and with the planning staff, we were able to put the pylon into the application with the wall signs, so you have it all at once tonight.
Okay.
Yep. If I may bring forth a photograph of the pylon sign?
Sure.
The sign, as you can see, is installed. It is intended to be internally illuminated. The top panel, Sunrise Shopping Center, is a red incised letter. The white background is solid, so that only Sunrise Shopping Center is illuminated in the evening. On the Walgreens panel, the red background is opaque, so that no light is emitted from behind the panel. Of course, if a headlight hits it, it will show red. But this is a nice sign. It identifies the south entrance to the Sunrise Shopping Center. It's 14 feet in height, which has a nice neighborhood scale. And the request here is for internal illumination in accordance with section 6.3.2 of the zoning ordinance. Heather Hopkins will address the wall signs. Thank
Okay.
you.
Welcome.
Good evening. My name is Heather Hopkins, and as Mr. Matthews indicated, our portion, thank you, of the application is to internally illuminate the wall signs on the Walgreens building. The wall signs, there are a total of 12 that include the directional signage on the canopy for the drive-through, and they have received a permit from Inspectional Services issued 10/15/2010, and they have been installed in a non-illuminated. So we are before the board to ask to have those signs internally illuminated, as well as the monument sign.
Okay. Okay, anybody here wishing to speak in favor of this petition? In favor? And hearing none, that portion of public hearing is closed. Anybody here wishing to speak in opposition of this petition? In opposition? And hearing none, that's closed. We'll open up for the board for consideration. Bill?
No comments, Mr. Chairman.
Gary?
No comments, Mr. Chairman.
Corey?
Yeah, I just got a question, Mr. Chairman. How about the hours of illumination? What are your intentions, Heather, may I ask?
Unfortunately, I can't confirm when the hours of operation of Walgreens. They're not a 24-hour operation. I would suspect they'd close, maybe Mr. Matthews has an opinion, between 10 and 11. And we would be in agreement to a limitation on the illumination you know, 15, 30 minutes after closing or at closing, or if there's a condition for the
Well,
illumination.
the signs that face directly across the street, say the car wash, I don't have an issue with. But the ones, is there any in the rear of the building? No?
No.
Okay, all right,
No.
so miss, okay.
Those on the side.
Those are the side, okay. All right, well, I think it looks great over there. You're doing a tremendous job on that project, honest to God. So it looks great. We're here to help you, so I'm, you know, kind of favorable to about 11 o'clock, to be honest with you.
Okay,
Well, we'll see what the other board members feel about it. But other than that, I support it. Thank you very much.
thank you.
Okay, Rick, anything?
No questions, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I don't know what time you close, but I think 30 minutes after closing or 11, you know, I don't have any problem with that, so, okay, what's the wish of the board?
I'll make a motion to approve with the following condition that the illumination is turned off 30 minutes after closing.
Second the motion.
And roll call, please, Aaron?
Mr. Bailey?
Approved with condition.
Mr. Belanger?
Approve with conditions?
Mr. Gary?
Approve with condition?
Mr. Perrin?
Approve a condition.
Okay, you've been unanimously approved. I just need you to sign and date these photographs, and if you can just give them to Aaron or somebody over there to appreciate it, and good luck. Yeah, just sign and date, and you can give those to Aaron. Okay, the next petition is ZB 2010, number 51, a request for a variance. James Jabides, 28 Kerry Street, to construct an addition without the proper rear yard setback pursuant to section 5.1 of the zoning code. We'll just give them a couple of seconds, Jim. if we could.
No problem.
Good, how are you?
Attorney Flood.
Okay. For the record, James Flood, 549 Roger Street, representing James and Patricia Jabides. We're in front of you tonight requesting a variance to add an addition on the home of approximately 24 by 28 without the required rear yard setback. Mr. Jabides has lived in this house since 1991, and the family now has 3 children. They have triplets, 2 boys and a girl, and they're all here tonight. And they've outgrown their present home, and they need room to expand. One son is a special needs child, and it's very important that he has his own bedroom, so that's one of the reasons that we're asking this request. And in addition, Mrs. Jabides, who's a nurse at Holy Family in Methuen, has an 82-year-old father who's very sick, and there's a chance that he might move in. So the new addition, I have a hand-drawn sketch if you'd like it. It's nothing fancy, but it's a hand-drawn sketch which shows the addition of 3 new bedrooms on the lot. The lot is a pre-existing non-conforming lot. It's only 6,300 square feet, and it's small. So because of the size of the lot, we're asking for this variance, and we feel that if they suffer substantial hardship if they were denied. And we're not changing the use, and we intend to keep it a single-family home. I do have a petition signed by a lot of the neighbors on Kerry Street, which I'd like to submit to the board along with
Sure.
this hand-drawn sketch. And
Bring them right up, Jim. So it looks like from this, pretty much everybody's in support of it that lives around there.
Yeah, that's about the amount of homes on the street, Mr. Chairman. It appears the whole street would be on board with this project, yes.
Okay. Now, Attorney Flood, the addition, it's off the back here in the backyard, is that, so if you're facing the house, it would be to the right side in the back, the proposed
As
addition?
you're facing the house, it's on the left side in the back, correct, Jim? On the left side.
So the shed would move?
The shed will be moved,
Okay, that's
right.
what
The
confused me, okay.
shed will be moved to the right side, and we will move it with, in accordance with the zoning. It'll be 5, 10 feet off the zoning, off the line, so. But they want to do it this way. Most of the homes on the street are ranches, and the only other possibility would go up, but cost prohibitive.
Okay. And basically, this is to be able to accommodate the special needs child and make it a little easier for him
They
there?
have 2 boys and a girl. They each have their own bedroom now, and then they'd have one for themselves and one for her father if he moves in. So there'd be 5 bedrooms.
Okay. Did you get a chance to look at any of the comments that the planning department?
Well, I did receive them, yes. I think as far as the hardship's concerned, it's the size of the lot, and I don't think we're gonna derogate from the intent of zoning since it's gonna remain a single-family home.
Yeah, and it looks like it would still basically fit in right with the neighborhood.
Correct.
What about the issue where any stormwater runoff due to the additional impervious surface will not be allowed to run off to abutting properties? Is there anything, I mean, it's probably just the foundation, but is there any safeguard to make sure that either the storm runoff is recaptured or it is kept on the property and not?
Well, I think it's my understanding that now when you go in for a building permit, it all has to be reviewed by all the departments, including the city engineer, and I'm sure she'll be looking for it because I have her comments also. Isn't that true, Rich? Yeah. So that would be,
Oh, go ahead.
that would be taken care of by the city engineer.
Okay, that's really the only concern
Yeah.
that I had, that it didn't, create any kind of water problems for anybody else, but it doesn't look like that would be the issue. Okay, anybody here wish to speak in favor of the petition? I assume the family's in favor of it, but anybody else in favor of the petition, in favor? Okay, hearing none, that public hearing is closed. Any opposition to the petition? Any opposition? And hearing no opposition, that portion of the public hearing is closed. Bill, any comments?
Just one quick comment, hopefully. Mr. Flood, is this, the addition that's gonna be put on, there's no, doorways, being constructed, is there? It's just basically adding on to the back
Adding
of
on
the
to the
house,
existing home.
fully enclosed,
Right.
yep. And, that's all I have, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Okay, and Gary, anything?
No questions, Mr. Chairman.
And Corey?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Do we have any kind of, council, any kind of a rendition, what it's gonna look like, the finished product that would be?
We don't.
Okay.
I didn't do that.
All right, Mr. Chairman, I think we need to go as far as, I'd like to move this project forward tonight. I am in support of it, and I would like to help this family out. But you think we need to go that far to have them submit a drawing to the building department? So it conforms with the house and the neighborhood, if you've...
Yeah, I think you're basically just putting a box on. There's not
Right.
gonna be any,
Just
stairs
kind
or
of
anything
square.
coming off it. I think that's what we try to look for aesthetically. If you're gonna have roof lines and stairs and things like that, or a deck off the side, then we'd like to see what it looks like. But it appears from this that it's, if we do request a plan, we're just gonna get a plan of a box, kind
Okay.
of. But, we can do that. We can request that as a condition prior to it, but I don't, do they have somebody in mind to build it already, or?
They do, yeah.
Okay, and that person's probably gonna have to go off some sort of,
A plan, you'd have a plan, yeah.
so maybe as a condition, it'd be, before you start construction, to hand in some sketch of what it will look like. It doesn't have to be anything,
You, a sketch? Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, just
You
so the
want an
board has
elevation-
something.
You want an elevation of the house, is what you're
Yeah,
looking for.
I'm just looking to make it so it matches the neighborhood in the current home, and,
Okay.
I do want to move this forward tonight, though, I do support it, but...
and the shed will, part of what you're requesting is you're agreeing to move the shed to the
Shed.
right side.
I think it says on the plan.
Right,
where
okay,
they're
so you
located.
hold to that plan. Okay, Rick, anything? Okay, what's the wish of the board?
Make a motion to approve with the following condition, that a rendition of the addition be submitted to the building department for approval.
Second motion.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Bailey?
Approved with condition.
Mr. Belanger,
Approve with conditions.
Mr. Gary,
Approve with condition?
Mr. Perrin,
Approve with conditions.
Mr. Bienvenu.
Okay, you've been unanimously approved, Attorney Flood. I just need you to sign this and date it, and you can give that to Aaron, and good luck with the project. Good luck, folks. Eight.
It was very good.
I'll talk to you later.
Okay, the final petition of the evening is ZB 2010, number 53, special permit request for Sam Wren, Inc., 680 Roger Street, to renovate the second floor, of a commercial building into a dwelling unit pursuant to 12.1H of the zoning code. Attorney Flood?
Unfortunately, Sam Soterio, who is the principal of the company, is out of town right now, so he's not here tonight, but I think anyone that, you probably know him, he does run Milan Pizza next door, and I think probably initially that's why he bought it, but it's so much higher, it's tough to expand. He bought the property in 2006, and it was rented through 2007, but for the last 2.5 years, it's been vacant. He's been trying to rent it. He did have some people come to speak to him and asked him whether it was possible if they wanted to rent it, they could live upstairs and come downstairs. So he just wanted to have that option if someone came around the corner and wanted to rent the building. I'm not saying he's going to do it, but he'd like to be able to offer that as a, as an alternative, because he's had no success whatsoever. And it's, there are other residents in the area across the street. I think Attorney Barry has tenants living in his building, and then next door to the bank, there's a residential property. So there is residential use in the neighborhood. And I think that's really the purpose of this request, just so to make it a little easier to rent the property if someone comes along.
Are they talking about any construction to the building itself?
No, nothing. You leave the building as it presently exists.
So there'd be no addition on,
No addition, no.
taking-
Just leave it as, I think it's only got, I remember going in there after, it used to be Madeline, Corey's
Yeah,
law office,
Laura,
and
yeah.
I looked at it initially, and it's very small upstairs. I think it's only like 700 square feet, so you could probably only have one bedroom in there.
That's what I thought. I mean, I've been up there too, and it's only,
It's very small.
Right.
But it's just, he's had no success whatsoever.
now, I walked around the property, and it appears though that it's mainly all paved, like a lot of them, right? I mean, I know
Right.
Milan's is all paved next to it, this one's paved. I think Dr. Brennan is the only one next to it that has some landscaping along Rogers Street. I think Milan's has that little strip in front of it, but is there any place to put landscaping, or is it pretty much?
There is a little strip in front of the building, if you look, there's some trees, but they're dead now. There is a landscaping strip right in front of the building. And, I think if they were to do this, they would spruce that up and add some more, a little color into it. But, I think you're familiar with Roger Street, most of the area is paved, and it's sometimes very difficult to come off the street. Just to get, I have a problem getting into Berkeley Avenue to get into my office now with the traffic there, so it's tough.
So this is an allowed use with a special permit, correct?
Right, special permit, right.
Okay, anybody here wish to speak in favor of this petition? In favor? Hi, Mark?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the Zoning Board of Appeals. My name is Mark Goldman, 58 Oakland Street, Lowell, Mass. I am familiar with the area, and, 2.5 years for the upstairs to be vacant is a long, long time. And I approve this because it makes sense, and it fits the neighborhood character. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mark. Anybody else wish to speak in favor of this petition? In favor? And hearing none, that portion of the public hearing is closed. Anybody wishing to speak in opposition? Anybody opposed to this petition? And hearing none, that portion of the public hearing is closed. We'll open up to the board for consideration. Bill, any comments, questions?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, a couple of questions for the applicant. Mr. Flood, did you read the city engineer's comments?
I did, and I think there's a little confusion on the parking, because I think the plan I submitted shows that all that's necessary is 4 spaces. We're providing 5 new ones in the back. There's plenty of room for more in front of the building if it's necessary, but if you look at the parking calculation done by the engineer, it says we only need 4.
Correct. So the 5 that are outlined on the plan here are the 5 that will be provided,
Right.
correct?
Plus, there's plenty of room for more in the front.
The only thing I noticed in front there is, I think there's currently some stripes there, and I found it interesting, kind of like the last stripe as before you get to where the building kind of,
Yeah.
I don't
But
know how you
they-
could,
They could be moved so that you can circulate around, but there's still in front of the building, there's room for some more spaces there.
so in the event he finds another tenant, he would have both a residential and a commercial
Yeah,
retail in there, correct?
correct.
So, I guess one of the other questions I'd ask is, if we approve this residential unit, if they decide to abandon that at some time in the future, does that mean they can't come back again with a residential request again on a
If
special
you
permit?
approve it, it would be good for 2 years. If he doesn't, rent it in 2 years, it expires, and then later on, if he does want to come back, yes, he could. But even if he has someone that wants to rent the whole thing commercially, he doesn't have to use the second floor.
Okay.
So he just wants that option, because it's been quiet.
Okay. And I guess the question, or the comment here, again, to the city engineer on this curb cut, street opening permits, did you look at that, Aaron? What does that mean? to
Yeah,
this
basically,
project?
the stretch of Rogers Street is actually Mass Highway. It's governed by Mass Highway regulations. So if the petitioner's looking to move the curb, either expand it, shorten it, or move it, they would have to seek a permit from Mass Highway.
Okay.
And I believe one of the comments the city engineer is pointing to is that Rogers Street was recently just
Paved.
repaved. And so there's a 5-year moratorium on street opening permits when that happens with Mass
Yeah,
Highway.
and
So-
you're not proposing
No,
doing
We're
anything?
not
with
putting
it?
any new service in there or anything, so there'd be no necessary.
Okay, that's all I have, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Okay, Gary, anything?
No comments, Mr. Chairman.
And Corey?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Counsel, how many bedrooms are going to be up there, just out of curiosity?
From that size, I would say there'd only be 1, Corey.
Only one,
Yeah, it's
okay.
only 700 square feet.
Okay, would your client see it clear to restripe I didn't see striping in the back there in the rear lot. I know
No.
you have,
Yeah, we will do that,
okay,
yes.
so I'll make that a condition. I do support it. But regarding, Mr. Chairman, the comments regarding landscaping, as much as I would love to see it, I think it will pose a safety hazard there. Due to the heavy traffic on that street, if we put a berm of some sort or an island on that lot, and you narrow it down to 1 lane to access it, I think we got a serious safety hazard there. I mean, as much as I don't like wide open paved, which what we see here, I think it's best in this scenario. I really, really do. Because I had trouble getting in there today.
Yeah.
And if you would have narrowed it down to 1 lane in, 1 lane out, I think we got a serious traffic threat. So I must respectfully disagree with the comments as to landscaping, I'm afraid. But I do support it, and it's conducive with the neighborhood. Mr. Barry has it across the street, correct?
Yeah, he is. But we'll be glad to re-landscape that strip in the front. There's not a problem.
Yeah,
with
that could work, sure. That could work.
There's not
I
a
don't want
problem
anything
with that.
impeding on the access to
Yeah,
the
it would
property,
be.
that's for sure, yeah. Other than that, I do support it. Thank you very much.
Okay, Rick?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, like my fellow Corey said, there's only going to be 1 unit upstairs.
Right, yeah.
1 bedroom. Obviously, we have to deal with the stormwater management stuff. As long as he's willing to work with the city and take care of a couple of problems with it, that's been like that for
Forever,
as long
yeah.
as I can remember.
And he's a pretty good citizen. He's ran Milan for many years. I'm sure you probably know. Yep. Yep.
So if he's willing to work with us, we're willing to work with him, work with DPD and see what we can do about a little bit more landscaping in the front, like we said, in front of the building.
In front of the building, all right, there's a strip there now, if you saw it.
And then the stormwater management stuff, that's all we're really looking for. Support of this would be good use, hopefully, and
Rented, yeah.
Okay, what's the wish of the board?
I'll make a motion to approve, Mr. Chairman, with a couple conditions, that the rear parking lot be restriped, and that the petitioner work with planning and development regarding landscaping that abuts the building. That little strip in front, maybe we can beautify that a little bit, that would be suffice, but that should do it.
Second the motion.
And roll call, Aaron, please.
Mr. Bailey?
Approve with conditions.
Mr. Belanger?
Approve with conditions.
Mr. Gary?
Approve with conditions?
Mr. Perrin?
Approve with conditions.
Mr. Bienvenu?
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Flood, you've been unanimously approved. You can just sign and date that and hand that to Aaron. Appreciate it. Good luck. Hey, Mr. Clerk, do we have any other further business?
Yes, so one thing I'd like to mention, Mr. Chairman, to Aaron, that, Aaron, do we have a meeting scheduled for the end of December this year? We normally do not, but I'd just like to bring it to the board's attention. We normally only have one meeting, and that would be scheduled for the 13th. I don't know if we have a second scheduled in that month at all.
Joe tells me there is one scheduled for the 27th.
We do, okay, all right.
Do we have anything on for that one? So that's usually one we've traditionally canceled because there's been nothing.
There's nothing as of yet, no. So,
And with Christmas being on Saturday, that will probably be, I don't know if the holiday is going to be celebrated Friday or Monday. It could be Monday, I don't know.
I honestly don't know.
Right.
It could be that, it could be either. Sorry?
Hey, you wanna-
No.
Mr. Chairman, should we
Manny knows
just,
it's Friday.
24th? Late in the afternoon on the 24th. So why don't we block that off as a meeting? Let's not have a meeting that night. So
Okay.
if any
Yep.
petitions come in, just make sure that well,
To
actually, we
January?
should vote on that. Does everybody in favor of canceling the last meeting in December? So far, there's nothing on. Or any opposition to it? All in favor, say aye.
aye.
Okay, so we'll take care of that. Any other business?
That's it, Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, any opposition? All in favor, say aye.
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 Meeting adjourned.